Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card is a collaboration with basically one of my favorite readers on YouTube, and that is Alexia from Celtic Fairy Tarot. I'm really excited to do this pick a cards. I love when I can channel anything from Mother Gaia anyway, but being able to collaborate with Alexia, I just love her work. I love how in depth she goes, the way she channels, the way she pours her heart into her readings. I just love her readings and they really help me a lot. So I just really appreciate being able to collaborate with one of my my favorite readers on the tube. So over on my side of the pick a card, I'm going to be taking a look at what elements want to work with you. Over on Elisa's channel, Celtic Fairy Tarot channel, she's going to be taking a look at what herbs want to work with you, what herbal remedies will work for you. So super excited because I haven't really done a topic like this, and we're gonna get straight in. So I have 3 necklaces for you guys to choose from. I hope you can see them properly. I did bring my old ring light down instead of my new one. Well, not new one, my old ring light I brought down, and it I may as well have not brought it down. It didn't do any, there was no difference. So I think I'm gonna have to bring my big one down, but for this video we're just gonna keep it like this for now. But I'll have to get my big one down, but hopefully you'll be able to see everything. So pile number 1, we have the red, let me bring it up closer. We have the red ruby necklace. Pile number, let me make sure you can see it properly. Okay, yeah. Pile number 2, we have the dolphin necklace. And pile number 3, we have the butterfly chain. So see which necklace you are drawn to. The timestamps, as usual, are going to be in the description box. So see which necklace you are drawn to, and I will see you guys at your timestamp. Hey pal one, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what element wants to work with you. So really, when I say what element wants to work with you, it's an element that your soul is maybe super connected to that you don't realize. That's what I really want to be taking a look at. And really just bringing through how your soul is connected to that element, why it wants to work with you, and how you can work with it, and basically just allow the energy to lead us where we need to go. So you guys chose the ruby necklace. I think it's a ruby anyway, I'm not sure. I bought it a long time ago and I can't remember if it was a ruby or not. Okay, pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1, tap me into the collective of my pile number 1s. Tap me in. I'm gonna tell you the elements straight away because it's coming through straight away, and it's fire. Because I almost see you guys emerging from a flame, and then I see you guys feeling I almost feel a little bit lost, or I just feel like stuck, and then I see you stepping into sunlight, you know, like Edward from the Twilight films, and he stands and then he just glitters and sparkles, and Bella's like, you're beautiful. Like, that's what I'm being shown. Like, I'm just being shown you standing in the sunlight, and but the sunlight that shines down, it's light codes. You know, when we tap into the sun, we can channel light codes, and I really do feel like you guys, you may have had a lot of lifetimes in tribes where you were in the sun a lot and you were taking in light codes and work with fire, but because I see it's coming natural to you to do that, but I really do feel like you'd get a lot of your, if you don't feel connected to channeling and your crown, like opening your crown chakra and just letting information flood, I feel like that may activate and open for you in the sun. However, with you being out in the sun or just channeling out in the sun, and you already know that you channel anyway, expect it to come through tenfold. I feel like you'd get a lot of information to come through, because the thing is about elements, it's not just water that remembers memories, it's elements that remember memories, because the elements that create Mother Gaia, they're a living, breathing force too. And when I say breathing, they don't have to have lungs to breathe, they're just a force that we're all connected to. And you know, the suns watch the earth for thousands and thousands of years and will remember that. So the element of fire is going to have memories too. It's going to have its own Akashic records too. And I just feel you would be able to pull a lot from the fire element, specifically the sun. Standing in the sun and bringing through like codes would be really, really beneficial for you. I'm also being shown somebody taking a piece of paper out into a garden or somewhere where there's a lot of sun, and basically automatic writing and bringing things through. Or even if you want to like manifest, burning your manifestations, I think would be really helpful for you guys as well, because I keep being shown someone chucking things onto a fire. I think that would really, really help you guys as well as when you guys are purging and releasing. I think maybe burning herbs and allowing your fears and worries and anything that you are purging out and letting it go with the smoke, like allowing it to alchemize with the smoke and out. Or again, writing, you know, anything, any feelings that you have on a piece of paper, and then burning it and allowing the fire element to alchemize it into something different. It will be returned in a different way. I also feel like that would really, really help you guys. So fire's coming through really strongly. You may have a lot of fire in your chart. You don't have to. We can also have soul elements that our souls are connected to, and it could be that it's just your soul element might be fire, but then again, it could also be your natal chart that you have a lot of fire in it. Your card's just fallen on the floor. Hang on. We have the 9 of Acorns, which is the 9 of Wands, which is more fire, power and perseverance. Pile number 1, please, Spirit Guides. What element wants to work with my pile number 1s? We have the Page of Shells, intuition and inspiration. 8 of Shells, quest and renewal. One more card, please, Spirit Guides. One more card. Pile number 1. We have the Knight of Acorns, which is the Knight of Wands, action and drive. The back of the deck, we have the 3 of Shells, playfulness and bliss. I don't know why, like, because we've got the fire element, when I'm connecting to your higher selves and collective, you're coming through like, if you've ever watched The Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey, the cartoon version, one of the ghosts, I can't remember what it is, I think it was the ghost of Christmas Past. It doesn't really speak much, but it comes through and it looks like a flame. It looks like a little man with like a flame head, and it does a little dance. So when I'm bringing messages through, your higher selves are coming through like that little man doing a little dance. It's quite funny. I think you guys are quite funny, quite humorous. I just think you have like a lot of, like, I keep being told, like, sometimes you'll just have dry humor and dry thoughts in your head, and I just feel like it's really funny. That's just coming through from Spirit. I just think you're quite a funny person. What I was going to say was, especially coming from, you know, the 8 of Cups and moving on to the Knight of Acorns, the fire element's really bringing a message through of not being scared of your own fire. Specifically when it comes to emotions we're told are negative. For example, I'm really being taken to the feeling of anger. And I'm being told for you, it's almost like you're being asked the question, why do you fear it? And why do you push it away like it is not supposed to be there? When our souls, when our inner child, shadow selves feel that feeling of anger, it's actually a feeling of self-love in a way. And I'll tell you why. When somebody does us wrong and we feel that feeling of anger, we feel that feeling of anger because somebody's overstepped a boundary. We feel that feeling of anger because somebody is doing something that we don't feel is fair. You know, if we see somebody doing something to someone that's unjustified and it's not fair and it's mean and it's just not right, that anger lets us know, well, that's not right. That's not right. That doesn't sit right with me. That feeling of anger there, it's not to be feared. and you're being called to honor your anger, because there may even be somebody in your life, or it could be multiple people that may have overstepped boundaries with you, put you down, and there's almost this feeling of like, I can't feel that feeling of anger towards them. It's almost like I need to push that down and have empathy. And yes, we have empathy, but we don't want to just keep pushing down our anger, because not only does that feeling need to come up to alchemize anyway, if we keep pushing it down, it can turn into resentment. We want to feel it, we want to understand it, we want to give it an outlet. But also we can then, especially with fire being your element, that tells me you're an alchemist, we can turn an emotion like that into something very powerful. So if we feel a feeling and we need to get something out, we can use that we can alchemize that, our masculine energy, and pour it into something else. So when we're feeling frustrated and we're having that angsty feeling, why don't we use that to, you know, head to the gym and work out and push that energy towards our goals and alchemize it into gaining our power? We feel like we're losing our power, it's making us angry, so we're gonna alchemize it into feeling more powerful, you know? And we can turn that into a drive, we can turn that into a passion. When our heart is broke and we feel that sadness and we feel that grief, instead of shutting our heart off and saying we don't want to feel like that again, why don't we alchemize it and transform it into wanting to bring more love into the world, and see love in a more beautiful form, and let it give us ammunition to feel love even deeper. And we want to transform that then, and that's an energy that's coming through from the fire element, because I feel like sometimes you may find that you get stagnant and stuck, and it's because a rebirth is imminent, a rebirth is about to happen. I really am being shown the phoenix from you guys. So when you feel that frustration and you feel that angst, do not bury it down, because when you allow those emotions to come out, a rebirth is going to I'm just being shown like a phoenix literally bursting into flames, but then something's born out of it. So you're really being called to own your anger, own your frustrations, own all of that angst, and feel it so that it can turn into something else. Because I'm being shown somebody after a breakup and feeling like, I don't want to be in love again, and then it's almost like I'm feeling that anger, and then I'm going, no, you know what, I do want to be in love again. Why should that be my story? I do want to feel love again. I really want to feel love, and I want to feel love deeply, and this wasn't love. I want to open up to something even greater. I've learned the lesson, and it's almost like using it as ammunition to work on myself and open up to something more beautiful. So now I can look at that situation as, that taught me wisdom, thank you, next. Like, that's what I'm being called. And it's also like, when we see the, you know, awful things happen in the world, naturally feel the anger, because as a human being you are going to, but then it's like, this is why I want to pour more love into the world, and I just want to be kind to people on the street for no reason, because I just want to pour love out. This is why I want to do that. I'm not going to let it keep me down. I'm going to feel the anger, but I'm not going to fight fire with fire. I'm going to allow this fire to alchemize, and then my heart space just grows bigger. So you're being called to do that. And again, even using it towards your goals. It could be in the gym, it could be in regards to your career, it could be in just setting firm boundaries with yourself. Allow it to alchemize and turn into power, you know, because there's a lot of wisdom in anger and those feelings, and you're being called not to ignore them, because that's an energy, that's a masculine energy, that maybe, I'm being told, maybe in your life you may have had more father figures or masculine people that dealt with their anger or dealt with their masculinity in a low vibrational way, in a very problematic way, could even be in an abusive way, and maybe that's why you sometimes fear the more masculine side. Maybe that's why sometimes you fear the more darker emotions, but one thing I'm being told to say is, you are not them. And the second thing that I'm being told to say is that when you're feeling an emotion from the heart space and you're coming from a heart space, that's not going to then steer you wrong. That's a message coming through. I also would say that maybe some shadow work on father figures or masculine energies from childhood and ways that they made you feel. I feel like that would also help you, even feeling anger towards certain masculine energies, just allowing it to come out, because I do think it's then gonna transform into a different energy. But these feelings are there to teach you, is the message from the fire element. So let's pull some oracle cards. There's lots of noise outside today, guys, I apologize. What are we gonna use? So let's pull these cards first. Pile number 1. What messages does pile number 1's element have for them? How can they use this element? We have trust, basil, and trust. If you feel connected to any of the herbs I mentioned, write them down. I'm not gonna reference any herbs, just write down whatever you're drawn to. But we have trust, basil. I think as well with trust, especially with the Scorpio energy, I feel like sometimes you may bury and bottle these emotions down, and you may not trust yourself to feel them and feel them in the right way. But I'm being told you have such a strong heart. You're able to really feel, because I feel like you already know you can feel really deep emotions in regards to like sadness, grief, abandonment. You know you can feel those emotions and transform them and not let them get the better of you. You can also do the same with grief and anger and frustration and angst. Like, you can do that too. So I'm being told whenever you feel like you might lose control in regards to that aspect, or that it's uncomfortable in that aspect, look how well you aced the emotional aspect in regards to, you know, the sadness, the upset and all of that. Look how well you ace that. You'll be able to do that with these uncomfortable feelings, because I even feel like, because with the fire it's connected to the solar plexus, so feelings like shame and guilt and all of that in the solar plexus, it's like, that's very uncomfortable to me. I naturally tend to avoid that. It's uncomfortable to me, and maybe you're entering an era, or maybe you're currently going through a period where you are acknowledging feelings of shame, feelings of guilt, feelings of disempowerment, but feeling that feeling and giving it space, you are naturally allowing it to phoenix and transform into something else. So if you have been transiting through a period where you've been feeling a little bit powerless, or you've been feeling guilt, or you've been feeling anger, or, you know, why did you do that to me? Why would you treat me that way? I'm hearing that, and it's like, I wouldn't treat somebody like that, so why would you? And it's like, I'm angry, or even just like memories that make me feel uncomfortable and disempowered, honoring them and just feeling and sitting with that feeling, it's going to naturally flow away, and you are going to rebirth that into power. So that's a message there. Pile number 1, we have emotion, cucumber. Got some Cancer energy here as well. Maybe you guys have a lot of water in your chart. You may even be my water pile. And that's probably why with the fire element it works so well with you, but maybe you don't feel comfortable in it. It might have even shocked you. Like, you could have even like clicked the pile, I said fire element, clicked off, gone to click another pile, but you were being really drawn here. And it's because naturally you may emotionally feel more. You might not tune into that fire all too much because it's uncomfortable, but that's why the fire element's coming through to wanting to work with you, because it's like, we've got some things to do. And this is actually going to activate a lot of good parts in you, and you need to sit through this. So that could be it too, because I do feel a feeling of rejection. Nope, this isn't for me. I'm not fire. Not angry, don't want to feel it. You know, uncomfortability, nope, don't want to feel it. That may have happened for some of you. Pile number 1. Messages from pile number 1's element. We have energy, Virgo. So we have orange here, citrus, and we've got the fire here with the sun as well. Look at that. Fire element here and burning. I'm being called for you guys to write down words that make you and I feel like you don't like to script or write long paragraphs. You're more like like I am being shown that with you guys. So maybe just writing words down on a piece of paper, or writing a name of somebody that made you feel disempowered. you know what that name or that one word means to you. You know what that feeling means to you. And when you see that word, you know what that energy means to you. So just write in, like, say now, for example, you have an ex who disempowered you and put you down called Luke. I don't know where I got Luke from. We're just going to use that. Sorry to any of you that are called Luke. But say now Luke's the bad guy, right? And you write the name down, but you don't have to write everything that Luke did to you or that person did to you. You just need to write that name down because you know what that person represented in your life. So allowing that name on that piece of paper to burn with the fire, all of those feelings, allow yourself to feel anything that comes up as that piece of paper burns and turns into ash. And it's like you're releasing that energy into the fire of how that person made you feel, and allow yourself to really feel it while that fire is burning, and watch the smoke flow away and watch all of those feelings leave your body, and just release and cry as much as you need to when it goes out. I really feel like that would really be beneficial to you. I feel like that would really help you guys. So let's pull some more cards. Pile number, make sure if you're burning anything, you're in a ventilated area and the windows are open. Make sure you're being safe. Make sure you have a heat-proof, fireproof bowl. Pile number 1. Messages from the element for my pile number 1s. What have we got? We have middle world, present. I love how the sun's really bright here as well. I also feel like on days where you literally just feel stuck, I'm being told for you to go outside, go out in the rays, just sit outside. Even if sometimes you're not receiving anything message wise, the sun's still activating you. So just sitting out in the sun, I feel like that's really going to replenish you. And I feel like sometimes you'll get zaps of spiritual upgrades, I'm being told. So do you know, like when you go through a period of a spiritual upgrade where it can last a couple of months and you may not sleep properly, or you may be getting a lot of downloads in your sleep, you may be hearing foreign languages when you're sleeping, light language, random shapes, you may be having like ascension symptoms. I feel like sometimes you'll just go through a zap where it'll happen over the space of like a day or like a couple of days, and I'm being told sometimes it happens to you when you're just like out in the sun, you're zapped into an upgrade, like, if that makes sense. Like I just see it happening, and randomly you'll just have this epiphany, and it's because you've just randomly gone through a really quick upgrade. I don't know what that's about. Normally I say upgrades last a minute, but for you guys I almost feel like yesterday I was really crying and felt really stuck, but today I understand, and it's like over the space of like 6 hours you just boom went through an upgrade. I just see that for you guys, but I feel like you may find you'll get upgrades a lot when you're out in the sun. I feel like that would really aid you. I feel like that's how you replenish. It could be as well, like you may feel like you replenish in water, and you may very well replenish in water, but maybe you cleanse in water and you get revitalized in the sun. That's what I'm being told. But I don't know why I keep feeling like I want to avoid the uncomfortability and the sun, and I almost feel like I want to avoid it because it's an uncomfortable feeling. Like that element, I feel a bit uncomfortable with it. We then have the shaman completion. And one more card, pile number 1. We have the cave, retreat, completion and retreat. I feel like you're someone that's always going through cycles, because with fire being that energy coming through, I feel like you are an alchemist, and I feel like you're constantly closing out feelings. But I feel like right now you are, you know when you end a book and then you write the end, I feel like you're edging towards a cycle where it's like the end, we're shutting the book, we're going to create a completely new book, but the final wedge or the final boom rebirth is this phoenix moment, which is where you let go of these uncomfortable feelings of shame and guilt and I'm not good enough and I'm powerless, where you let go of that, you know, anger that's just residing, that you may be telling yourself you shouldn't be feeling. And I feel like that is going to be a very big rebirth. It's just like boom, rebirth. I feel like with the retreat card and the cave, I feel like, especially with the cave being really doom, you know, it's like we're going into the darkness and we're just like sitting away. I also feel like sometimes you guys, because I keep being shown you guys wanting to make friends with someone or wanting to say something to someone or wanting to be seen, but then it's almost like I feel safe hidden. So again, it's like I may sometimes be a little bit frightened of my own power, or how much I can influence, or how much I can be seen. Because I feel like when you roar, you roar. When you're shining, you're shining. And I feel like sometimes that may be a little bit uncomfortable for you. Because I do feel like you are somebody that does capture a lot of attentions. I do feel like you are a light. But I feel like sometimes that may be uncomfortable for you. Because I keep, with the cave card, it's like I want to hide. I don't want to be seen. And the fire element saying, when you feel these feelings in this completion cycle now of uncomfortability and anger and frustration, and you release that rebirth is gonna make you feel ready to be seen. You know, it's like there's no fear, because it's like I don't feel like someone's gonna take my power away, or I'm not worried about someone projecting this onto me. It's like I'm standing in my truth, I'm standing in my power. So that's something that is happening in your energy right now. It's a cycle you're going through right now, and kind of coming home to yourself and activating your power. And the back of the deck, you have expression. You know, we express ourselves through that fire element, and I feel like that's something you're opening up to, and it's being activated within you. Maybe it's uncomfortable, you know. So finally, I'm going to pull one final card. I'm going to pull one final card to end the reading, and this card is going to be a message from Mother Gaia. So just a piece of guidance from Mother Gaia, so all the 4 elements together. So let's see. Sorry for the plane. Pile number 1, I think it's a helicopter. Lately, I'm going to tell you a quick story while it's flying overhead. Because I live by a beach, I also have a harbour right by me too. And lately, people, I don't know what's happening to their cars, but they keep driving through the railings and falling into the harbour. Now, luckily, the last 3 times in the last couple of months that the cars have actually fallen into the harbour, they've only fallen into the mud because the tide's been out. But the other day, this guy with a Range Rover went through the barriers somehow, because this has happened a bunch of times now. And the tide was actually coming in. The tide was on its way in, and he went into the harbour, and the water was rising up. And like, I get a lot of helicopters because, you know, beach, people get dragged out and stuff. But every time I hear a helicopter, I just think someone's gone into the harbour with a car again, because it keeps happening. And I think I'm gonna have to go down there and journey and energetically connect to the spirit of the land and see what's going on and clear it, because I think there's a disruption for that many instances to be happening in the same place. I just thought I'd let you know that. But I think I'm gonna have to head down there and see and do a bit of a clearing, because something's not right there. I don't know, something's not right. Anyway, let's get back to the reading now that the helicopter's gone. Pile number 1. Message from Mother Gaia for my pile number 1s. Messages from Mother Gaia for my pile number 1s. We have reflection, illusion, self-examination, and distortion. Look at the fire there as well. Well, it's a sun, but you know, the sun is a ball of fire. So the fire element is, I would say that it's the fire element, but it's Mother Gaia coming through, asking you to acknowledge this fire element within you and really sit and reflect on the feelings that make you feel uncomfortable, which I feel are connected to your solar plexus and connected to feeling powerless, feeling disempowered, feeling a discomfort in being seen, feeling angry. Even like being seen as the bad guy, you know, for having to stand up for yourself, and all of those feelings, anything that comes up, there could be more that I haven't mentioned. You're being called to really reflect on these feelings and sit with them and feel them so that they can go through a rebirth. I feel like that is the message from Mother Gaia with that card coming through. The back of the deck, you have Hidden Path, the marriage of Spirit and Matter. So we've got the Sun on here again. And we have the marriage of Spirit and Matter. And I think that you standing in your power, you either haven't felt like you've been in your power for some time, or I don't think you've really felt what you're about to feel when you go through this Phoenix moment. And I feel like that's why the Hidden Path card came up, because I feel like you're activating a really beautiful part of you that either hasn't been touched for a while or hasn't been touched this deeply, maybe hasn't even been activated in this lifetime yet. And I feel like you'll find that other spiritual gifts will come through a lot stronger as well. I keep being shown an activation of the throat chakra as well for you guys through this cleanse. So pile number 1, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed the reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. Part 2 with Celtic Fairy Tarot is going to be in the description box for you to head over if you haven't already. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pal 2, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what element wants to work with you. So what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be taking a look at the element that wants to work with you. We're going to take a look at how you can work with the element physically, as well as how you can use that element to empower yourself, and just basically any messages that that element has for you. So you guys chose the dolphin necklace. I'm going to start with tarot and then we'll bring your oracle cards through as well. So pile number 2, please, spirit guides, the dolphin pile. What element wants to work with my pile number 2s? What element wants to work with my pile number 2s? We have the 2 of shells, union and harmony. Pile number 2. Oh, 2 cards just flipped over my shoulder and almost slid down. We have the 9 of acorns, which is the 9 of wands, power and perseverance. We have the 8 of acorns, which is the 8 of wands, energy and results. One more card, please, spirit guides. What element wants to work with my pile number 2s? What element wants to work with my pile number 2s? We have the King of Shells, harmony and integrity. I actually have 2 different elements coming through for you guys, and I think they both work with you in tandem together, because I'm being shown 2 different scenarios that are showing these 2 elements to me. The first one, I'm being taken to a forest, but in this forest is a lake, and it's almost a kind of like a little bit of a swamp, so there's moss all around, and the lake feels shallow, so there's still water there, but there's lots of moss. I don't know what the plants are called, but like in a lake, like underneath there's like an undergrowth of like plants underneath the lake. I'm being shown that, but the water is still there. So the part of the forest that I'm in is damp. So there's an energy of cleansing, but then it's also like I'm really connected to the earth here. That's what's coming through. It's like when I was thinking of water, I thought, oh, okay, maybe the ocean, but it's different. Like this water energy doesn't feel oceany. It feels a lake, like a literal pond, a small lake, a small pond. And it's like there's a growth of trees all around me, and I'm kind of here, and I feel very connected to the Fae here. I feel very connected to just nature spirits in general, but it's like water energy, like the Fae energy, but water energy. Yeah, there's like a blend. The other scenario I was being shown was a frog, and a frog being underwater. It's like I live here, but also I need to make my way onto land, and I kind of feel like the lake that I'm in, or the pond that I'm in, is this frog. I'm cleansing. I'm coming home, but I know that I have to journey onto the land because that's where my purpose is, and that's also where I'm going to gain wisdom. That's where my journey is. But every so often I have to make my way back to the lake because I need to replenish and I need to go home. So I almost feel like your soul is very connected to the element of water, and keeping it around you, I feel, is going to make you feel safe and replenished. But I also feel like the element of earth is coming through really strongly. Now, straight away, I'm being told that in your everyday life, in your home, I'm being called for you guys to bring as much water around you as you can. You may even feel like you want to relocate by water, but I'm being shown for you guys to get like water features and keeping cups of water around just to absorb energies, and then allowing it, you know, taking it outside to be replenished with the earth and letting Mother Gaia cleanse that. And I keep not just cups, but like I keep wanting to mix them together. Like I keep wanting to have jars of like vases of water with flowers in them. Like I don't just want to I'm being told like not just like a flower in a plant pot. I want flowers in water. I want like a mixture. Like I need to have a mixture. I need to have both of these elements around me, but I keep being told like I don't want them separate. They need to be immersed. They need to be connected. They need to be okay. Everything you do in life is going to have that element of water to it. You need to be emotionally connected to anything you create in the physical. You are not the type of person that can connect to other people. Okay, guys, my camera completely gave way on me then. The stand isn't that sturdy, to be honest with you, and it just kind of gave way with me. But what I was saying was, everything that you do in life, there has to be emotion connected to it, and I feel like that's where you're going to get your abundance and where you're going to find your brilliance and really find your calling. Everything that you do, your heart has to connect to it. That also means with connections. You connect with people from a hearty level or not at all. You are not the type of person that can just cut off from the heart space and just go around living with your upper limits. And by that I mean cutting off to your heart space, cutting off to your emotions, and just entering a connection for money, for stability, for clout, for ego. Like you're not somebody that's ruled by that. I don't know why I got confused on what I was saying then, but you're here to work with the heart, and I feel like that's how you're going to create in this lifetime. I feel like your heart really shines through, and that's why we have this emotional, it's like I can't have them separate. I can't just have the emotions and then the earthy creation. Everything has to have meaning. Everything that I'm creating has to come from the heart. It has to have meaning. It has to mean something to me, and I need to know that it connects with other people. That's why I don't want just a plant in a pot and then a glass of water. I want a vase with the flowers in, because then the flowers bloom, they're blended together. I don't just want a connection for the sake of it. I want to be able to express my emotions with you, and I want us to connect in that way. I want us to kind of align together in that way. The same way that I'm being shown this lake and this forest. It's not a forest and then a lake. They are together. The lake is part of the forest is part of the lake. It's all intertwined together. The people that you have in your life, the connections that you have in your life, they literally are part of you. They are part of your family. They are connected to you, and it happens with everything. That's why we have this Two of Shells here. It's even in regards to pets, and even like when you have a home, it means something to you. It's sentimental to you. Do not feel ashamed of this. Do not feel ashamed that you are this way. This is so beautiful that everything that you have has meaning. Some people will walk around life and feel like everything is meaningless, but the element of the water and the element of earth are coming together to show you that empathy and connecting from the heart, that is what life is. That's the creation. Love and the energy of love is one of the highest vibrations of life. Like, God is love. The universe is love. We are created from that God source, that universe that is pure love. That's what we're created from. And as long as we are connected to that, we have light. As long as we're connected to that, we have purpose. And that is part of your purpose. You are here as a light worker. You are here as an empath for a reason. And I feel like not only is that your mission to just be a beacon of that, but I feel like you are here to also set an example of where meaning really is. Because when we're on our deathbeds at the end of our life, we're not going to think of that plasma screen TV that we really, really wanted and that Range Rover that we really, really wanted. We're going to think of the connections that we had with people. And more specifically, when souls cross over, what I found with, you know, speaking with souls that have crossed over, they look back at the memories created, the fun created, the feelings that created, the love that was birthed, the connections that were made, the meaning that came from that one memory, and they're connected to that one memory. And it's such a big part of that soul's evolution, because it's like, that's where I learned this, that's where I learned that, and there's a connection with this person and that person, and we're connected through the heart space. And I feel like you're being called to really own these two elements, because you may even feel like you don't belong sometimes in the world, because the world is very fast paced and it's like rise and grind and all of that. But you're here to lead with the heart. You're here to lead with emotion. You're here to lead with empathy. And I think that's so beautiful that that's your tribute to the world, and you're being called to not feel ashamed for the weight of your emotions and for the weight that you are able to feel, because it is a gift. It really is a gift. I feel like you guys are able to embody really, really strong emotions. And I feel like with the 9 of Acorns here and then the 8 of Acorns, I just feel like I want to say that you're a teacher of emotions. Like you're a teacher, because the thing is, the earthy realm, like earth energies and really grounded into the physical bodies, human beings are getting used to that. It's the emotional side that human beings are naturally taught to shut off. And I feel like you're here to be a teacher of emotions and holding space for people's emotions and expressing your authentic emotions out so that other people have an outlet to do it too. Whether that's expressing your inner child, expressing your shadow self, expressing vulnerability, you doing that is holding space for other people to do that. Even if it's triggering to people sometimes, when something's triggering, that means it's moving somebody somewhere. So even if somebody's getting triggered by it, you've already planted a seed somewhere. You're showing somebody an outlet of emotions. I'll get it sometimes, because like sometimes I'll cry in my readings because I'm holding emotion and I'm releasing it. Especially like for example, when I did my Kundalini awakening, there's a lot of releasing I'm doing in that video, so I'm naturally crying. And I'll get people be like, oh, you know, why are you being like overly emotional, or you're just trying to gain attention. And I understand why they're saying that. They're saying it because maybe in their childhood they didn't have an outlet for emotions, so they were told, you know, grow up, hide that emotion, and you know, you're doing that for attention. And that's what they think when they see emotions. So then they'll project that onto me or anyone that will express emotions in a very vulnerable and open way. And I understand that, you know what I mean? Even if sometimes it can be triggering, I do understand that. And I feel like you're here to express emotions in that way. You're here to bring those emotions into the physical because they're a part of this human experience. And I feel like you're here to be a teacher of natural self-expression in this realm. And really, I think you've mastered the element of water, but I feel like you are here to really own it. And I think that's why the element of water is coming through, to tell you to own that, own those emotions, you know? Even like sometimes when we're owning emotions, like sometimes can be like, that's cringe, you're wearing that and that's cringe, or you're doing that and that's cringe. What even is cringe? Like, that's an ego saying, oh, that's making me uncomfortable, so it's cringe. You know, it's cringe that you're connected to the inner child. It's cringe that you're doing. What even is that anyway? You know what I mean? Allow that feeling to come out. Why are you burying it down? Why are you scared to wear those, you know, bright blue boots and get excited with your inner child? Why are you scared to do this and express yourself like that? Why is it cringe to you? You know, and I feel like you challenge people like that sometimes, but I think sometimes that is a part of your purpose there. And I think maybe you've maybe you were born and you bottled your emotions in, and maybe you went through a period where you were highly emotional and highly sensitive, and maybe you're learning to really balance that, because we have the King of Shells here, which is the King of Cups, and really understand your emotions. Because I do feel sometimes people have projected a lot onto you, and it's made you it's because you guys are very sensitive. I feel like it's really hurt you, and I feel like you've got wrapped up in other people's emotions. I also feel like people have projected onto you in ways that isn't true to you, and I feel like that's got you conflicted. And I feel like sometimes it has been hard to separate your own emotions from others, but I feel like you're coming to a point where you are mastering your own emotions. And the reason the earth element is then coming in, it's like the frog going onto land. I'm safe in this lake, this is where I was born, this is where I'm naturally from, but I'm heading onto the land because that's where my wisdom is. Maybe you've been in a cocoon for some time as you've been gaining grips on your emotions and understanding your emotions more, but you're coming to a time now where, just like the frog, it's gained its legs and it's making its way onto the earth for some, you know, to gain some wisdom. It's going on its journey, and I feel like you're maybe about to step out into the physical world or be seen or really help other people with their emotions, and that's your journey. And that's why the earthy element has come through, because I feel like they both exist, but these deep emotions, this sensitivity that you have, it is part of your journey. And it is nothing to be ashamed of, even if sometimes people will project that onto you. It is nothing to be ashamed of. Hi, Veda. Veda's come to jump onto the window. I'm going to keep an eye on him because sometimes he tries to climb out of the window and I'm upstairs. So he'll jump over the window onto the other side of the windowsill, which is outside, and he can't jump down from there because it's too high. And he sits there meowing, and then I have to kind of like make him jump back over, and it's a whole thing, so I need to keep an eye on him. I don't know why I told you that, but you know, I feel like you're the type to love animals, so you know, that's probably why I told you. And I feel like as well, a lot of your emotions are very connected to your inner child. I feel like you have an innocence there, or maybe people project an innocence onto you, which is literally you just naturally allowing your emotions to flow. I think there's so much strength in that. I think that your emotions are your biggest strength, and you're entering a time where you're bringing that into the physical. To say you're just the water element is to... It's almost like I'm talking about your soul then. I'm not talking about your physical incarnation. I feel like you're blending two worlds together. The water element, I feel, just comes so natural to you. So to just say, oh yeah, water element, it's more than that, you know? It's way more than that. And I think that, I don't know why, I feel like having flowers, hang on guys, the exact thing that I was telling you that Veda tries to do, Veda did. And he had my nets down and he was dangling from the window, so I had to save him and bring him back into the room because he was dangling. The back of the deck as well, guys, you had the Four of Shells, which is soul searching, re-evaluation. I think sometimes you felt burdened by your emotions. I keep hearing the song, it's actually new. I don't know how to say her name properly. It's Lyran. I think I pronounced her last name correctly. Apologies if I did not. But she has a song on one of her new EPs called Emotions. But she wrote it like EM, and then instead of oceans, it's like oceans like the sea, like OCEANS, which I thought was kind of cool. And she basically talks about empathy and having really deep feelings, and I feel like that may, if you do struggle sometimes with the weight of those feelings, I feel like that song may help you. So it's Lyran Jiragi, Emotions. It's on her new EP. The picture is just her in black and white, the picture for the EP. So let's pull your oracle cards. Pile number 2. Messages from pile number 2's elements. How can they work with their elements, and what messages and guidance to pile number 2's elements have? We have agreement, strawberry. I feel as well, with you guys being what I feel are empaths, I feel like you have drawn in a lot of people that have really been drawn to your light, and I feel like sometimes you felt like they've just sucked you dry, and I think sometimes you've kind of felt used in connections, because it's almost like when you were going through something you came here, but now that you're not going through something you're gone, or you know, I was really there for you, you weren't there for me, or when you were going through it, I held you. When I was going through it, you know, I was on my own. Like, I see a lot of that, and I almost feel like sometimes I feel like I'm projecting my depth onto people that aren't connected to that depth yet, and I understand that completely. I think that you've had specific karmic relationships that have allowed you to understand the physical realm, you know, connections with people that because I see like a watery influence in regards to connections with other people, and with that watery influence, whenever there's water, there's a reflection. So it's almost like I've seen the light that I have inside of myself on you, I've projected that onto you, or I've seen the depth that I have in myself, it's almost like I've projected it onto you, or I see the potential in you, but then it's almost like you're not living up to that, or when it comes to that growth, you're not coming with me. And then I kind of feel like it's always then imbalance, like I'm giving so much of myself and you're not giving it back. And I feel like maybe you've been on the empath journey of learning to place boundaries with people and love yourself. So I do feel there's been a journey there, but with the agreement card, I kind of feel like you've had certain karmic connections that have taught you to pour into yourself first and make sure that there's a balance in your energy before just opening that energy up to everyone. Sorry for the noise, guys. Because I feel like people have taken from you, because you have such a nurturing energy, a replenishing energy, and it's not that those people didn't like you, especially if it triggered like abandonment wounds and stuff like that. It's just that it's a frequency thing. It's like it's you know, like when it's like I'm lacking an energy that you possess so strongly, and it's nurturing to me. But if I have too much of it, I might drown in it. So it's almost like I need to step back from it. Or sometimes there's divine intervention where you could literally be sucked dry. So it's almost like divine intervention separates the energy so that you are able to like clear that, learn the lesson, and then bring in somebody that is vibrating at that same frequency as you. So I feel like that has happened as well. But I do see like a burden there and a release, because it's like I feel deeply and it's almost like I'm projecting that depth, or I want to see the best for you but you're not wanting to, and it's burdening me. It's like that sensitivity. And maybe you're a little bit scared in regards to like the frog going back onto the land. Maybe you're a little bit scared to make your way back to the land, because maybe the last time you were there you were learning karmic lessons with this agreement card. But it's going to be different, because I feel like not only are you replenished, but you've already been through the demo mode. You already see things a lot clearer now, because before maybe you just saw things through the water element. You were the little tadpole. Now you've gained the legs, so you understand the earthy realm now, so you're making your way back again. So it's like you've mastered something there. Pile number 2, the element that wants to work with my pile number 2s. What guidance does the element have? It's so noisy outside, guys, I'm so sorry. We have tranquility, violet. I just feel like you're so nurturing, and I think that the message here as well is to nurture yourself back, pull that energy back into yourself. With the tranquility card here, I think that you've been learning to pull back into yourself, and really fill up your own cup and really get to know yourself in that way. We then have transition, cauliflower. Yeah, I feel like you've gone through your own rebirth, which has allowed that pond, that lake to grow, you know what I mean, and grow those plants around it, and build upon what was just emotion at one point. It's like you've built a really logical understanding as well, so now you're coming to balance that out, which was always meant to happen. That was always the purpose. I feel like through a lot of tears that maybe that you've cried and purged out, I feel like they've gone into their ground and then grown the forest that is around that lake that I'm being shown, because you're meant to balance both of these energies out. Lessons you've learned, I feel like, here to aid other people through your wisdom as well. The back of the deck we have divination as well. I feel like you guys are strongly clairvoyant, especially with the crystal ball being on that card. I feel like you guys are strongly clairvoyant and intuitive. I feel like those abilities are really, really strong with you. I also feel like you may be able to channel and get a lot of information when you're around water. Water scrying, I feel, is something that may work for you guys, as well as just going out near nature, specifically by water, like lakes, ponds, the sea, or even being in the shower. I feel like you'll get a lot of downloads and stuff. being around water. I feel like it really aids you. And very similar to what I mentioned before, water carries memories, and I just feel that speaking to the element of the water, I feel like the water element will be able to bring it's almost like it's bringing you messages in regards to your own Akashic records, because it's like how to explain this? It's like I'm remembering your essence and your soul, so I'm reminding you of your power, and I'm reminding you of home, and I'm reminding you of these gifts that you have. But also I feel like working with water anyway, water's been on earth for billions and millions of years, so water has seen a whole lot. Water has seen generations come and go. Water has seen human beings through every facet, even through history that wasn't recorded, the Lemurian times, the Avalonian times, the Atlantean times. Water has seen all of that. And water comes from elsewhere. So water even has memories, celestial memories, you know, from beyond Earth, right? So I feel like speaking to the water and allowing it to assist you with just like messages from our ancestors on Earth, I feel like that would really, really help and guide you as well, just speaking with the water and seeing what comes through, especially if you have that intent. Because I'm being shown somebody collecting seawater and then taking it home and then channeling what that the ocean remembers, and what, you know, what it can bring up. So I feel like that's a little bit of a key as to, you know, in regards to aiding you in channeling. Pile number 2. What is pile number 2's element? We have the insect support. I don't know why it's so noisy today. Pile number 2, we have the medicine bag treasure. One more card, please. Pile number 2's element. Pile number 2's element. We have water expression. Of course. Okay, so insect support. I feel like with you guys then having that connection with the earthy realm and having that empathic nature, I feel like animals work really well with you. And I do feel like your spirit guides and Mother Gaia do send you animals and insects to bring messages through. So I would really pay attention to animals, especially with Veda coming in and interrupting the reading and, you know, making a ruckus. I would really pay attention to animals. But with the insects card here, I am going to say specifically insects that show up. It doesn't have to be just insects and animals in regards to them just showing up physically. It could be like somebody gifts you a notebook and there's a wolf on there, or somebody gifts you a cup and there's like a butterfly on there. Like, I feel like spirit speaks to you through the symbol of animals there, because I feel like you're intuitively and empathically connected to animals. So I do feel that they are your messengers. So I feel like when you do get insects and animals coming up, even in meditation, you're just seeing them, I do feel like there's a message there. The medicine bag treasure. You don't need a whole lot to connect to people. You don't need a whole lot to even channel and bring messages through. You know, when I always say, like, you can have all the tools, but some people can do more with just like a cup of water than people can do with like a bunch of decks. And I just feel like you're somebody that doesn't need a whole lot, because that water energy as well is even within you. I feel like you guys are strongly clairsentient, and I just feel like you're able to empathically pick up a lot from people in regards to psychic gifts. So I almost feel like the element of the water lives within you. So in regards to using it and channeling with people and working with people spiritually, I don't think you need a whole lot. I think you just need to be with people. I think your heart just starts to expand and you're able to connect to people, which is really beautiful. I think you are the treasure, you know, instead of having that treasure, that medicine bag, and having treasures in it. I feel like you are that, and that's why we have water expression. I feel like the treasure and the gift is through the emotions that you express and bring through. I think that's the message here. At the back of the deck, you have South, abundance. And with the penguins, like, obviously, let me wait for this card to go. I don't know, my street is never this busy. I know I've only got one Amazon package coming today, so I don't know about this street. Maybe they have a bunch. I don't know. There's a lot going on today. But with this card, the abundance card with the penguins, like, penguins live where there's a lot of ice, and I just feel like you're somebody that is able to melt that ice and really see what's below. A lot of people, you know, with ice, it's like frozen water, so it's like those emotions that aren't flowing, it's frozen, stuck. That's when people start to turn ice cold and they don't connect to that, you know, empathy and those emotions. And I just feel like you're here to melt that ice and really show people what's beneath, and show people that. I think that's what you're here to do, you know. I think that's part of your mission. So final card, and this is going to be a message just from Mother Gaia, so all the out. So pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2. What message does Mother Gaia have for my pile number 2s? Oh, we have 2 cards that have come out for you guys. We have evolution, earth changes, climate change, transformation, and we have the message, positive news, positive outcome. And the back of the deck we have perception beyond the veil of illusion. So I feel like you've really mastered seeing the light in people, seeing the good in people, really empathizing with people, but also having discernment and grounding yourself, and really seeing people for who they are in that balanced perspective instead of their potential, maybe who they say they are, because that's who they want to be, but they're not showing up as it. And I think that's what you've been learning, and I think that's also aided in your own growth. And that's where we have evolution here, earth changes, climate changes, transformation. I feel like you're learning to balance that earthy energy, and it's your time to come back onto that land now. I think that's the era that you're heading into, but that pond and that lake is always there for your replenishment, you know. It's not like you're leaving the water energy, because it's already within you, you know. We're made up of, like, I don't know the percentage, I'm sure it was like 80% water, I may be wrong, but we're made up of water, we're made up of that element, and you have, you know, that empathy and that clairsentience within you, and you're here to, you know, activate it into the physical. And that's why we have the message. I feel like you're here to, you know, hold space for people and bring messages of, you know, hope for people, and really listen to people and touch people with your words. And I feel like that's what you're here to do. And yeah, pile number 2, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed the reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'll have the link to Celtic Fairy Tarot channel in the description box for you to watch part 2 if you haven't already. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a very beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at what element wants to work with you. So you guys chose the butterfly chain. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Oh, you got a card just popped out straight away. We have the 8 of crystals, which is the 8 of pentacles. Let me make sure that focuses. Dedication and progress. I was going to say progression then, but same thing. Pile number 3, what element wants to work with my pile number 3s? We have the 10 of shells, which is the 10 of cups, blessings and well-being. What element wants to work with my pile number 3s, please, spirit guys? What element wants to work with my pile number 3s? We have love, choice and trust, and then we also have, apologies for the noise guys, we have the 5 of shells, which is hope and readjustment. I'm hearing the Little Mermaid song part of your world, when she's like looking up to the human world and she's kind of wanting to be a part of it. And it's almost like I feel like I'm floating on a cloud, or I'm floating through the air. It's like I am a cloud. It's almost like I haven't manifested into a physical body, and I'm almost just observing, and I feel a part of everyone, but I'm not a part of it. Does that make sense? Like I feel this togetherness, I feel this like unison, like I'm a part of this world, but then I don't feel like I'm one with them. Like I don't feel like I'm physically here, like I'm up in the air and I'm kind of just watching from afar. And that's where the part of your world songs kind of comes in. I would say that the element that you like, what most comes natural to you, this isn't the element that wants to work with you, it's an energy that I think that you are in most of the time, and that's air. You may have strong air in your chart, you don't have to. That's Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. I would say Virgo as well, because I'm picking up like analytical Mercury energy, so that's Gemini and Virgo. But I'm in my mind a lot. Like I'm tapping my head. I know you can't see me, but I feel like I'm up in my mind and there's a lot of thoughts going on, and I almost feel like I'm observing a lot. And that's where the element that wants to work with you comes in, because then I feel my feet kind of sprouting out these big tree trunks and grounding me into the earth. So I feel like the element that wants to work with you the most is the earth element. Now with pile number 1 and 2, I was really taken to like past lives and how to, you know, how you can work with this actual element. Whereas with you guys, this element's coming through really directly connected to your root chakra, and it's coming through more physically. I feel like you're a very old soul, but I feel like some of you guys may be a new soul to earth. So you may have had a lot of lifetimes elsewhere, but I feel like you haven't had many lifetimes on earth. When I tap into where your energy and soul resides, it feels very celestial. Again, it feels like a mist, it feels like an air. I feel like you guys, there's almost like this unison, this togetherness. We don't speak, there's no physical touch. We all just are. We're all just connected. It's just this mist, it's just this energy. There's not a whole lot of physically doing. And then it's like when I'm incarnating into this world, it's like I'm still moving that way. I'm still observing. I'm still, you know, flowing about, but I'm not physically, it's foreign to me to like physically really be pure, if that makes sense. It's very easy for me to slip into my mind. It's very easy for me to slip into another realm. And it's funny because you feel like a very old soul. It just feels very new to earth. I feel like the hustle and bustle of earth, it's like, oh, and I feel like even just physical tasks, it's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. This comes foreign to me. And that's why the earthy element is coming through with you guys, because I'm being shown Peter Pan. When Peter Pan, his shadow used to run away from him, and Peter used to stitch his shadow to his feet because the shadow self would run around and cause a riot. That's where I feel like your soul is like kind of stitching your human self to your feet, so that you can really physically be present here. And the way this element wants to work with you is doing the more earthy things. I feel like you guys more than most, there's a lot of focus being taken to the root chakra and really grounding into the physical, and being taken to the mornings, like when you wake up, like really rooting and grounding into your physical body. Because I feel like your higher chakras are very open, your crown chakra, your third eye, and your throat chakra. And I feel like you may even be somebody that channels a lot, takes in a lot of energy. You may have gone through a lot of ascensions. You could even be going through one now, and that's why this is coming through, and that's why you've been guided to this reading. And that's where you're being called to really focus on these 3 lower chakras, because they're a lot maybe more foreign to you. It's very easy for you guys to just live in the higher chakras. So I'm being told like structure and routine, which may be a bit like, oh, boring, or like, oh, I don't know. Physical movement and breath work I'm really being taken to with the earthy element. Like that's where I'm really being brought to. I feel like I could sit here and list like different herbs, or I could sit here and list different oils, or I could give you all these practices, but you always have this way of seeing such a deep spiritual way to everything, that I think that this element wants to bring you into the present, and just the present of deep breathing and nothing more. You know what I mean? Or running on the treadmill and nothing more, just grounding into the present and being very aware of the present. So like taking the AirPods out of the ears, and just really focusing on where I'm at, who I'm with, how I feel. Because sometimes as well we can be in our mind, or we can be focused on something else. We forget to really feel our emotions for the day. We forget to really feel how our body's feeling, and sometimes we can overwrite fatigue and we can overwrite these feelings and bury them down because we're in our minds. And that's why this element is bringing you into the present, because everything is created in the present, and that's what this element is wanting to do. Because I don't know if some of you guys have a project you're wanting to get off the ground, or a career move you're wanting to make, or there may be a goal you're trying to reach. That's why this element's coming through to and being shown for you guys. And I think this would really help you guys, like a sheet of paper, and like, do you know, like to-do lists? You know, when you go on your notes app on your phone and you have like points and you like tick them off as you go, like 7 o'clock do this. I just feel like that would really help you, because I feel like that's your way of tying your shadow, like Peter Pan's shadow, to his feet. I feel like that's your way of doing that in the morning. And I just feel like taking 30 minutes out of your morning to really be present with your feelings and emotions and do things to physically be grounded into this physical world. I feel like just that alone in the first 30 minutes is going to have a really big difference, because I keep being shown someone rolling on and maybe rolling over and maybe going on their phone. And sometimes we forget, like, the internet is a realm in itself, and there's a lot of chatter and there's a lot going on. We can energetically pick up a lot going on those sites straight away. So there's a strong reference of you just physically being present, even just going out and outside in nature and just physically being present. But I just feel like I'm being called for you to move, and it doesn't have to be just like physical working out, like running on the treadmill. It can be dancing, it can be moving, it could also be, and this has come up in a reading before, sitting with your body and allowing your body to move in a way that it feels. So you could be sitting here and having, the more you're sitting with your body, you can feel that there's a ache on your right shoulder, and just moving that around. Because when we think and when we channel and when we take on information, information, we channel information and stuff from spirit, don't we? That basically can get stuck in our energy field. And a lot of the times, if we have like a lot of energy pent up in the neck and shoulders, you know, we can really feel it. That's why when people are stressed, they'll usually get aches on their back and their shoulders and places like that, because it's like energy pent up. Same on the feet, same on the wrists, same on the knees, anywhere really. And that's where you're being called to move your body in that way and allow the energy to flow through, because there's a lot of channeling information, there's a lot of downloading information. I also think you take on information, like energy from people as well, really well, because these higher, but like the, you know, clairvoyance, clairaudience, I'm hearing just downloading, channeling abilities. I also being taken a Reiki, so I feel like you can take on energy and pass it through, and I think you do it without realizing it sometimes. I also think that you guys are quite clairsentient as well. You absorb a lot. So there's a lot of I'm taking in, but there's not a lot of I'm pulling out, because even when you guys will feel an emotion, you may have an air moon, you don't have to. There's just this feeling of you guys analyzing an emotion before feeling it, and all it is this element wanting to bring you into the physical so you can feel. Because sometimes I feel like you guys will take on an emotion, and then like you can feel this emotion and you don't know why it's there, and then you're analyzing why it's there. It might even be there because it's not even yours, it's somebody else's, but it's almost like I'm picking at it instead of just feeling it and letting it flow out. And the easy way to do that is just being present in the moment and just allowing it space to flow out. And that's the message here. I want to say you guys are gifted channelers. Like, I feel like I don't even need to look at the cards, because I literally just glanced over at the cards and they're basically saying what I was channeling. However, I wasn't looking at them when I was channeling that. So I just think for me, because I channel as well, but I feel like with me and your energy, we're cooking. Like, I just feel like I just don't need to look at the cards at all. I will pull more. But that's what I'm getting, because with the 8 of Crystals, which is the 8 of Pentacles, I feel like there's something maybe you're wanting to get off the ground. Maybe sometimes you deal with procrastination. Honestly, I have the same gift. Like, I download a lot. I have to, if I don't run in the morning and do a workout in the morning, I'm drifting. And I'll film in the morning, because that's when my energy's nice and clear. Otherwise I can be all over the place. So I get this pile. This is probably my pile. But there may be something you're wanting to put into focus, or really put out there, and it's like maybe a little bit of procrastination or not. It's like you're finding it hard to get in that routine, and I just feel like routines are going to be a godsend for you, and that's why this element is coming through more than anything. And I also just think as well, you being present in the moment, you're able to appreciate a lot more, which is going to create a lot more happiness for you. And it could be, while coming into the present, you may first have to deal with parts of your life or situations where you're not fully happy, but just sitting with them and really being present with them, we're able then to make a change. Do you understand what I mean? But we don't know it's there if we're not fully present to experience it, if that makes sense. So that's why you're being called into the present there, because I feel like it's also going to bring you a lot more emotional stability and happiness as well. I keep being told movement though, even if it's just like a little jam to some songs in the morning, honestly, that can just bring out, you know, a bunch of energy. Even just moving your hands in a particular way and doing a little dance there, it can bring out a lot. Or just stretches, that really helps as well. So let's pull your oracle cards. Pile number 3. What element wants to work with my pile number 3s? It's like you may have a lot of Aquarius. I want to say for you guys, Gemini, Aquarius, or Virgo. Those are the 3 signs I feel like I'm picking up. Because it's funny, because I don't feel like the advice from this element is like, root yourself in the ground, like do this, that. It's not like that. It's more so, remember your humanness. Remember you're a human. Remember you're physically here. That's how it feels, which is why I was picking up Aquarius, because it's like, you know, Uranus energy, like otherworldly type of energy, and then we're physically grounded. So it's like, remember that we're physically here. So I feel like it's more human advice than the more spiritual advice, because I don't feel like you really need that much. Sorry guys, I don't think you need that much spiritual advice, because I feel like, you know, like I will say that, you know, like I feel like you're in constant communication with spirit. I feel like even this reading, you're like, yeah, I knew it was gonna be Earth. I know I need to ground. I feel like that's you guys. Yeah, we have trust, Basil. I can hear my cats making noises around the house. I can hear them. Pile number 3, please. Spirit guides, we have agreement, strawberry. Let me put one more card down. Pile number 3. What element wants to work with my pile number 3s? Longevity. Okay. All right. Let's. The back of the deck we have ritual. Yeah, I feel just like a little ritual in the morning would go a long way for you guys. I don't even think it's anything too drastic. I do feel like sitting in the present will have some emotions of like dissatisfaction and things coming up for a second as you release them, and then you're able to make changes. But I just feel like a ritual, 30 minutes in the morning I want to really recommend sitting with your body and moving it in a way that you intuitively feel called to. I feel like you guys are really intuitive, so you'll know what I mean. You'll just sit there and your body will start bending in specific ways. And you may even be called to hold a position. Kind of like yoga, but your body will tell you what to do. That's what I like to do. And what happens is a lot of emotions may start to come up that may be stagnant and stuck. So that's something I really want to recommend, because I feel like that may really aid you in just understanding your energy for the morning, so you can do with that as you will. So if you really feel fatigued and you understand that because you're in the present, I'm so sorry for the noise, because you're in the present, then it's like you're able to understand, okay, I'm fatigued, what can I do, and nurture that, and then you're presently taking care of that. Whereas if you would have woken up and just gone on your phone, you could have taken on a bunch of energy and then not realized your body was fatigued and gone about your day, and then it's like you don't understand why you're getting depleted. So that's something that I really feel will help you guys. When I see the longevity card as well, I'm being told, I always say, like, think like a Taurus, so like planting the seed, watering it, waiting for it to grow, let it take its time. I just feel like being very present with specific goals that you have and focusing on very small aspects of it doing a small aspect of it every single day, it's going to lead to you doing the whole thing. So it's like having longevity, you know what I mean? Really taking its time and nurturing it, which is why you're being called into the present, because I feel like there's something you're wanting to do. Trust is more, again, the card trust coming through, because you guys are in your head a lot, you may worry and overthink to the point that you might not end up doing what you wanted to do, and you're being called to let go. With the trust card, it's like allowing yourself to be in flow with how you're feeling, and being really feeling, I can't get my words out, being very present in those flowing emotions and where you're currently at. I feel like that is really going to aid you. And then why do we have agreement? Why do we have agreement? I feel like that's part of your soul contract. Like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to make my way down. Most people will make their way up. It's like start with the root chakra and make my way up. I feel like you popped in through the crown chakra and made your way down. I feel like you went backwards. You may have a lot of planets in retrograde in your natal chart. You don't have to. But I feel like you've gone backwards. You do things backwards, which is cool, because I feel like you've got the spiritual side on lock. You've got the channeling on lock. You've got your intuition on lock. Even your throat chakra feels on lock. Even your heart chakra feels very on lock. So it's like we're making our way down. We're going to have these breakthroughs and clearing, and then we're going to bring into the physical. And I just feel like this is the pendulum swinging to the other side, which is why the earth element is coming through now. It's not that you were doing anything wrong being in that energy before. You needed to be in that energy to maybe do shadow work, cleanse, clear, connect with spirit to the degree that you have, and you've really connected to spirit to a high degree. I can feel it. So you just started the other way, which is, there's no right or wrong way to do it. I just feel like you started the other way and now you're going this way. And that's why the earth element is coming through. So that's quite interesting. Let's pull your oracle cards. Well, let's pull more oracle cards. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. What elements? Your cards, do you know what I like about you guys as well? Is because your energy is fluid, in the sense of like you are very in your higher chakras. The cards are working so perfectly with me. They're just jumping into my hands. Because you have a very clear vessel for that, which is quite interesting. So we have sea creatures, immersion. Let me just, there we go. Sea creatures, immersion. You also have west, purge. That reminds me of the owl in the labyrinth. Any owl reminds me of the owl in the labyrinth. One more card, please. Spirit guides, pile number 3. What element wants to work with my pile number 3 shapeshifter perspective? These are my favorite cards. Just thought I'd let you know. I just love them cards very much. So sea creature immersion, like I was saying, your guys' higher selves, like the way I get taken back to your like soul energy, is really beautiful, because it just feels like we're all one. And when you think of like how many water drops fall into a lake, then fall into a stream, and then come back into the sea, and it's like this one big body of water, I just feel like on a soul level, that's your energy. And there's not really much effort to it, it just is. So it's like it's a very high vibration, which is why it would have taken you a minute to kind of like make your way and solidify into this realm, which I think it was always that way. I think, to be honest with you, I think you were always meant to do it this route, because I think it's almost like I'm slowly manifesting into earth. I don't want to just fully be there straight away. Like, I need to like slowly manifest into earth. I need to like dip my toe in and take my time. You know when you go in a pool and it's freezing cold? That's how I feel it's happening. I'm like taking my time instead of just cannon bombing in and just causing a riot, you know? That's how I feel that energy from you guys. And you may as well feel a little bit alien sometimes as well, because then it's like you're looking at things from a collective perspective, whereas you may find that other people that you may be connecting with are looking at things through a very logic based or a very earthy based, and it's like, what? You know what I mean? And I feel very alien. I'd rather just sit back and observe. But you're coming into a time where you're physically, you know, gonna get it. Like, you're going to it's like, how do I explain it? I mentioned it before, I might have mentioned it to you guys, but there's this scene in The Office where Michael Scott always has food by himself, like his lunch by himself, and he has lunch with two of the people once, and he's like, oh, I actually want to have lunch with the rest of my work crew now, and like he does this little like confessional in the camera thing, and he's like, I want to have lunch with these people. And when I was, because I've been on the same kind of journey, when I was opening up and being more in my physical body, I remember like thinking about humans in a way of like, I want to connect with these people, you know what, they're actually okay, they're actually quite funny, and I'm actually ready to spend some time with these people now. And I remember saying it and laughing because it reminded me of the Office scene, and I always think of it in that way. And that's literally, I just feel like you've been on the same path. I feel like that's what you guys are doing, and opening up. With the Purge card, I will say, sitting with your physical body, you may find that emotions will come up that are a little bit, you know, uncomfortable, that have been stored and wedged down. Just allow them space to flow out. Allow them space to come out is the message, and be really present with them, so that they can naturally just flow out. With shapeshifter and perspective, I think that's again calling onto your natural energy, where you are very clairsentient. You can mold yourself to maybe what other people need you to be, but I think what you're doing now is really molding yourself into who you want to be, and really grounding in that way, instead of always tailoring your energy to maybe people around you, because it's very easy to do that. You're really solidifying who you are in this incarnation and what you're about, and bringing that in. Sorry guys, my camera cut out then, but what I was basically going into was that I was grabbing the Mother Gaia Oracle, and we're going to bring a message from Mother Gaia to you. So this is going to be a message from all 4 elements. So let's get in. So pile number 3, a message from Mother Gaia to end the reading, please, Spirit guides. A message from Mother Gaia to my pile number 3s. We have the Tree of Life, fertility, creativity, destiny, and magical blessings. I love that. Yeah. And with the tree, and I think this is the message really coming through, when we want to reach high heights with the branches, we have to root ourselves just as deep. And I feel like you are up with the branches, and now you're rooting yourself down. That's the journey that you're on, and there's no right or wrong with the journey. Our souls know what they're doing, they know what they're wanting to achieve and work through, and this has been your journey, and this is the path that you're in now, where you're really rooting yourself in, probably because you're here to harness and bring a lot of energies from the higher realms down, which is why you've trickled your way down that way. That's probably why. Which is probably why I was picking up projects and things you're wanting to do, because it's like now it's time to birth it and bring it in to the physical, instead of it just being here energetically. It's like we've perfected the idea, we've perfected the blueprint, now it's time to root it in. And that's why the earth element is coming through and focusing more on the earthly way of working with the earth element. So yeah, pile number 3, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed the reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. And hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.